Yo, what up? Breaking Records Radio, you know what it is. Maloney here, we got Innesence with me.
What up,
we got Dustin Wareham in the place to be. What's good, homie?
Not much, man. Just chilling out, you know what I mean? Doing my thing.
Yeah.
Going through.
Word, man. Tell people a little bit about yourself, who Dustin Wareham is.
Oh, man. Alright. Dustin Wareham, that's my government, you know what I mean? Just want to go by my government name. But I'm a Toronto-born, bred, raised MC, rapper, also a DJ, DJ D's Nuts. That's one of my aliases. 80s favorite babies. That's the DJ crew. But I'm a rapper, man. You know, I'm an MC. Hip hop's my life. And I just bring those reality, real street songs, lyrics, and you know, I'm not a gangster, but you know, I keep it a little bit of G in my music. You know what I mean? I let you know what that life is like, cause that's the neighborhood I'm from. You know.
Who are some of your inspirations as growing up for music? Who did you listen to?
Man, I've been listening to music my whole life. So, Redman, Nas, Bob Marley, Damian Marley. You know, but I don't just keep it hip hop and reggae. Like some of my favorite music is rock music. So, Deftones is one of my favorite bands. You know, earlier today before I even came here, I was bumping some Marilyn Manson. Just depends what I'm in the mood for. You know, a lot of 90s alternative music, a lot of those guys, you know, I really dig the emotion that they put into the music and the vibe that they had and the way they were able to attract their audience and build their audience. But you know, if we're talking on the hip hop tip, definitely, you know, Nas, definitely Redman, Tupac, Biggie, Jay. You know, as far as the Canadian scene, you know, we gotta talk about dudes like Empire. We gotta talk about Socks. You know, Socks is one of those dudes where he's just so musical. You know, so everything Socrates was putting out, I was always checking for that. Cardi, you know, Cardi held it down and repped, you know, for Toronto big time. Chalks held it down for, you know, Scarborough. You know what I mean? Drizzy, you know, Drizzy hold it down for Toronto on the whole.
Yeah.
So shout out to Drake, man.
All right, so let's talk about I Don't Give a Fuck.
Alright, I Don't Give a Fuck, IDGAF, you know, that's one of my big songs right now that I'm pushing off my EP, Bootleg This EP, and it's just, you know, it's like, you just wake up and you have one of those days where it's like, you know, fuck everything, you know what I mean, like, sorry for cussing, but you wake up and you're like, fuck everything, you know, like, you wake up and you're like, I don't care about the problems I have with my work or my job or, you know, whatever it is, my boys, my lady, my mom, the rent. Fuck everything. I don't give a fuck. I gotta wake up tomorrow. I gotta deal with today regardless. But fuck it. I'm just gonna, you know, move forward and do me. You know what I mean? I don't care about the repercussions or what's gonna happen. I'm just gonna do me. Yeah. That's really what that song's about. Just vent, letting a lot of frustration out. You know, I like to do that with my music and
that's out right now.
Yeah.
You got the music video for that on YouTube as well, right?
Yeah. IDGAF, Dustin Wareham. You can YouTube that. Shop on my boy Il Vibe. What up, Il Vibe?
Shout out to Il Vibe.
Yeah, he shot that video. Shot a few other, you know, videos for me as well.
Hat Real Low.
It's another video that he shot. But yeah, you can check that video out. You know, you might see some famous scenery in the background, whatnot. You know, you might see the Sky Dome, see the CN Tower and shit. See me smoking a lot of fucking weed because I don't give a fuck. You know, Mr. IDGAF. What?
And actually, with that said, tell the people a little bit about Bootleg This EP and how they can find that online and bootleg it.
Okay. Bootleg This EP, like it took, I guess, a lot to get to Bootleg This. For those who don't really know me or haven't heard my name, you know, I'll give a little bit of brief history of how I started. Basically, you know, just like everybody else, I was that dude in high school rapping at the lunchroom tables or whatnot. But you know, I noticed that I got a little bit good or a little bit better with it than some other people. So I just pursued it hard out of school. And you know, I was the young and going to like a lot of battles. You know, little short kid with a fro, braids, dreads, whatever. And you know, just doing my thing, getting a little bit of respect. But, you know, mid-20s, I bumped into some old friends that I had who actually had, like, rock bands when I was in high school and we went to the same school. So we formed something called 85 East. and that turned into like just this rock hip hop thing. A lot of people said it reminded them of Rage Against the Machine. So we did our thing for like 5 fucking years with that. Toured around a lot of Southern Ontario. And, you know, I put a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of effort into that band. Named it 85 East because that's the Shepherd bus route that went right by my house.
Oh, shit.
And, you know, so fucking Malvern, so Scarborough that I wanted to rep my hood like that. So 85 East, that was the blessing and the curse.
Yeah.
That band broke up because of cocaine and egos. You know, dudes couldn't keep their shit together and they like to fight with each other. And, you know, and eventually shit just went sour. So from that, I got into the DJing, 80s favorite babies, and, you know, started booking a lot of Toronto dudes and doing shows here in Toronto. And in doing that, it just reinvigorated that spark in me. Like, yo, I gotta do this, you know what I mean? Like, I still have these words flowing out of my fucking mouth, flowing out of my head. I'm still writing. Just because I'm not spitting doesn't mean I'm not still writing. So, you know, I just took some time and, you know, called my boy Jimmy T up, and I'm like, look, I need you to make these fucking tracks for me now. These are exactly the way I want these tracks to sound. This is, you know, the hooks that I have, everything. Basically, everything was written in my head, and just kind of, he took what I had written in my head, took those sounds that I would tell him I wanted, made those beats for me, you know, recorded it, put some time, some money into that, you know, gave it about 6 months work, and just put out like a 5-track EP, put that out, you know, June 1st, 2014, and, you know, for the most part, I got like a really good reception off of that. You know, and on that album, we got Hat Real Low. That was the first single that I pushed. I Don't Give a Fuck. You know, IBJF. O-Dog Status, and Designer Label Condoms. And Going In. You know, Going In, we got Ill Vibe, we got Tony Ranks, we got my boy Specs One, myself, PvP produced that one. And, you know, every other track was pretty much produced by my boy Jimmy T.
Oh.
Right? And I got a remix of Hat Real Low on there as well that PvP produced. Right?
Yeah.
So, you know, it took a lot of effort because with 85 East, you know, the money was spent, but it wasn't spent on an album. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was spent on touring, it was spent on other things, and then, like I said, dudes had egos. So instead of taking the money from shows that we got, a lot of guys wanted to get paid, or, you know, they didn't want to put the money into like recording an album.
Yeah.
So that's why it took me so
Wouldn't
long to
invest.
get to this project. It took, you know, it was almost like I had to grow. You know, through 85 East, I became a better musician. Know how to, you know, understand live instruments, live instrumentation. You know, once that failed, it just took me rebuilding myself and rebranding myself to get to this point, right?
Yeah.
So that's why it took so long to get some actual physical material out here for myself. Even though, you know, you could check online, I probably got like 50, you know, tracks on YouTube, you know, for stuff that I've done with other bands and other artists and things like that. And they're out there circulating all around the world and shit.
And then 85 East too, people can find that stuff on YouTube.
Yeah,
as
you
well,
can
a little
find-
bit of it, right?
You can find a lot of that stuff on YouTube. What's crazy with 85 East is, you know, every once in a while you Google your name, right? You want to get egotistical, you Google your name. So when I did that with 85 East one day, what I found is motherfuckers were bootlegging our shit out in Russia. Like, there was some dude out in Russia who was putting us up on compilations, and it's called, you know, it's like top 20 new metal bands. And I was seeing bands like Head PE and these signed bands, and all of a sudden, you know, there's my band and a picture of us and our track, and I don't know how this dude got our song. I don't know, word, bro. I don't know how it happened, and I'm just like, yo, it's fucking dope. So people were rating it. Another thing was there was like some Japanese magazine, and they were rating similar bands like Orange 9mm and a few of these other bands who were a similar style to what we were doing. And then I see a rating for like some of our unmastered shit or whatever, and I'm like, who sent this out? Like, how did you get this? What are you saying in Japanese? How the fuck? I mean, like, I'm just a dude in Toronto, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm making this stuff with my band, and we didn't put that much. Like, we were just home recording it and maybe putting it on, you know, on MySpace, I think.
Okay.
So that's how far back we're doing on MySpace, but people were really digging it, and it got out to Asia, it got out to Russia, and, you know, to see ourselves in like a top 20 list, that blew my fucking mind away. I don't know how the other guys felt, but I was like, fuck yeah, that's dope, you know?
That's crazy.
I enjoyed that. I broke that wave, man, and that band was dope, man. We'd have mosh pits at shows, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if there's a lot of hip-hop dudes in the city that can say they've had genuine mosh pits where kids come up to you, blood trickling down their head after, and they're like, bro, that shit was awesome. I'm like, nah, I mean, you need to go to the hospital, bro, but you did your thing, thank you, you know?
That's crazy.
Yeah, man.
Holy shit, man. Alright, well, speaking about live shows, and all that, and killing the live shows.
Yeah.
People wilding out.
Yeah.
You just recently took the championship at Survival of the Illest, the Toronto.
Yeah. So that was the Toronto edition of Survival of the Illest. That was dope. Awesome. Shout out to Ill Vibe. Last year I actually helped him out. I was a DJ for a few of the Survival of the Illest events. And yeah, man, like I said, I helped him with that, and I did a lot of DJing for him last year, right? So, in between DJing for him and traveling around and doing my own shows, really, like I said, reinvigorated me and gave me that spark, put that battery in my back, and I wanted to get back doing these shows myself. So threw my hat in for Survival of the Illest, and, I took it serious, you know what I mean? I practiced before this, I'd go to the rehearsal factory with my boys and lay down 3 hours worth of practice, go to the gym, well, I'm going to the gym now, but, going to the gym and getting on the treadmill and getting the cardio up and, just working out and whatnot. But that show was dope, and what I did for that show was the same thing I would do with 85 East. Was I have a ritual before shows: hot water and honey. Gotta drink that shit, throw it down. Don't drink pizza and breaded foods 2 or 3 hours before you're performing, because it's gonna clog your throat. So hot water and honey. Find a quiet corner somewhere, stretch, meditate. Don't fuck around with the liquor, the beer. Keep the weed for after. Meditate for a minute, get your mind right, and when you get up on stage, you've already visualized what you're gonna do, right? Yeah. So just do it, you know what I mean? Don't think about nothing, just do it, and just look at the crowd, lock eyes with the crowd, connect with them, you know what I mean? Move, feel limber, you know what I mean? If you don't stretch when you get up on stage, you could blow a joint out, man, you know what I mean? It happened to Drake, you know what I'm saying? So it can happen if you don't stretch, and how you gonna wild out on stage if you're not warmed up already, So I just went up there and did my thing and just put on the show and, try to get everything out. And in the end, it was me versus Tony Ranks. Shout out to Tony Ranks, that's my boy. Tony Ranks is a big legend here in Toronto, and me and that dude actually go back to times we were kids.
Tony Ranks Scandalous?
Scandalous, yeah, man. You don't scan Tony Ranks Scandalous. That'll be the one and only. So it was me versus him in the finals, and, he did his thing, I did my thing. And I was the one who walked away victorious. Shout out to him though, because that's a huge win for me right there. And I won it, and it felt awesome, man. It felt amazing, just to just to basically show people again, like, yo, you might have forgot this is what I did, or you might have thought that I retired, but at the end of the day, I'm that quiet, unassuming dude, but you give me that mic and you get me on stage, and I'm gonna fucking tear shit up. Yeah, I'm gonna destroy it. That's what I do, Behind the scenes or off the stage, I'm a humble dude, but when it's my time to jump on that stage, I'm gonna bust my ass harder than anybody else if possible.
Yeah, you talked about DJing a couple shows for Ill Vibe, so you DJ too?
Yeah, man. I got a DJ crew, 80s Favorite Babies. 80s Favorite Babies that's the name because we're all from the 80s, and I just thought the name sounded dope. Yeah. I like to think of us as the favorite babies from the 80s, you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of motherfuckers was born in the 80s, but I'm at the top, you know? And it was a dope decade, man. I love it. All the technology, all that shit. You look back at the looks of the 80s, Michael Jackson, the glasses, everything, Nintendo, Sega, Pepsi, Coke, McDonald's. It was a dope fucking time, pre-internet, but things were getting there, right? So that's my crew, 80s Favorite Babies. That's me. My boy Spesh 1, he was the first dude that I asked to start this up with. Actually, that's a lie. He was the second dude. The first boy was my boy Carl Marshall, my bass player from 85 East, still my bass player now. But he couldn't really get into that, so I stepped to Spesh 1 because his band had just broken up. People don't know Spesh 1 and PvP. Those guys were in a band called The Royal Family. Very similar to 85 East because they were a rock hip hop band as well. And we became brother bands. We became real fucking tight the first time we met, So when they went through what I had just gone through 6 months earlier, and I watched them go through that, I knew exactly what he's going through. Yeah. I had just started up the DJing. I knew he needed something to kind of get his mind off of that, because as frontmen, when your bands go south, that shit destroys you, eats you up like a cancer, because you're that man for that band, right?
And then it's like fuck.
Right, you know what I mean? It eats you up, and everyone's looking at you like it's your fault, when really it might have been, it might not have been, but at the end of the day, you still did everything you could to save that sinking ship when you go down last because you're the captain, right? So I called him on, brought him on board, and he became, my partner, the promo dude, right? And one of the dudes who really helped me get into the DJing was PvP, and he was already an awesome fucking DJ. Like, he started King of the Dot, co-founded, King of the Dot with a few other people, Organic and whatnot. And he's just an awesome DJ in the jungle and the hip hop scene and whatnot. So he would always come up to our parties and throw down sets or whatnot. But I just started, saying to him, why don't you just come on board? And once we really became a trifecta, like our parties really just started taking off. And gave us the opportunity to just really do whatever. Like we could do alternative rock parties, we could do the 90s hip hop, parties, we could do the new school hip hop parties, we could do, the jungle parties, whatever we really want, you know. So we do the DJing, man. We had a residency at Velvet Underground, and that's like a rock grunge spot. We held that down for about a year and a half every Saturday, and that was dope,
That's
751 is where we do like the Basement Wasted, or where we used to do the Basement Wasted. We're trying to move that somewhere else right now. But that's like a free lyricist lounge type party where we do it once a month, and we put guys on and they come through, and it's just that rowdy hip hop. We'll give you 15 minutes, go do your thing. You know what I'm saying? Like get the crowd buck wild, man. Want to hear what you got? And we've given everybody a chance. You know what I mean? Like anybody and everybody, if they wanted to come through, it was like, yo, come through. Boom, I'll put you on. It doesn't matter if you're, if you're someone like, let's say Dustin Wallace, and he's coming through with G Wonder and a few of those people. Like I've had them, all the way down to like independent dudes that people might not have heard of from like Pickering or whatnot. There's a few people I still haven't worked with, but I've had Capital E, I've had Ill Vibe, I've had yourself, Maloney. You know what I mean? Trying to think of some of the bigger names, but we've had so many people. We've had Adam Bomb do it. You know what I'm saying? So Adam Bomb, he's in my opinion, top 5 lyricists in this country. If
Adam
not
Bomb
possibly top 3. But we've had him come through. We did a King of the Dot edition where,
I've seen that actually. I've seen the flyer.
Exactly. For that, an organic spit a little something. It's been a while since men's heard organic spit something. But we had a little King of the Dot thing. So, we're holding it down with the Basement Wasted. But 80s Favorite Babies isn't just the Basement Wasted parties. We're not 80s music parties. Again, it's just the name. But we could play any party. We do private parties. I like doing private parties because I get more fucking money out of a private party. And if it's just me, then I don't have to split it with my partners. But if it's me and my partners, then it's a lot more fun because we get to run around a private party and just be fools and throw a little bit back more, more drinks and get rowdy and holler at the girls and stuff. So we do that. Right now we're doing the Firkin, King and Spadina, and those parties are really dope because those are mid-20s to mid-20s to early 30 crowd, and it gets crowded, man. By like 12:30, we got to line up down the street, and it's just good vibes. We could play top 40 music, and to be honest with you, those parties are a lot of fun because that's when everyone dances and goes buck wild, and they're not so so concerned about don't step on my shoes and shit. Like the girls are dancing, the guys are cool watching the girls dance. That's what matters. Right?
I think you had a real, when I checked you at Firkin before, you had a real good blend of music, like from like old school hip hop to new school hip hop, and like a little bit of top 40, but the blend of it was real proper. It was like, almost track for track, you know what I mean? Like you gave everybody a little bit of what they might want. Like, exactly. That's proper. That's how you rock a good party.
Yeah, man, and I love the DJing, and like to be honest with you, someone had asked a question the other day. They're like, what was your favorite experience in music so far in your career? And my answer was, I've been blessed enough to do like the rock scene with the band. I've done the hip hop stuff, solo, and I do the DJing, and it's like it's different vibes for all of them. But at the end of the day, as long as the vibe's positive in the room and people are having a good time, all of them, all those 3 different scenes are kind of the same, you know what I mean? And that's what it's really all about, is just like the vibe. So for the DJing, I love supplying the party. I love being the dude where it's like people are getting that drug rush off of what I'm giving them. You know what I mean? Even though it's not a drug, it's still...
It's stimulating.
Man.
Music is a drug.
It is, right? It's weird, man. Music, like, you get a feeling from it, but you don't touch it. You know what I mean? You don't ingest it. You just hear it, but you still get a feeling from music, right? Yeah, man. One thing about music, when it hits, you feel no pain. Word is bond, man.
All right, so I believe your next album that you're working on is Road to Say that again.
Road to Damascus.
Damascus.
Man. Road to Damascus. That's like a famous saying, where it's it's like it's from the Bible, you know what I mean? So it's like when you're having a road to Damascus moment. It's like when you're walking through life and you're going a certain way and something happens and you just have this realization that you're going completely 180 from where you should be going, you know what I mean? So what I'm working on is like my road to Damascus, you know what I mean? It's like living my life this way, let's switch it up, you know what I mean? I'm looking at things from this point of view, let's start looking at it from this point of view, or let's start talking about these things. First album I talked about a lot of the street stuff, let's start talking about the world, you know what I mean? Instead of looking at the microcosm, let's look at the macrocosm, let's look at the universe, you know what I'm saying? So just kind of there. And there's a lot going on in the world right now, and I think the whole world on a whole right now, we're kind of having a road to Damascus moment.
Yeah.
You know, we're seeing a lot of protests, we're seeing a lot of wars, we're seeing a lot of uprising, you know, a lot of movements, student movements, whether it's Hong Kong, you know, whether it's, you know, Ferguson, Missouri, you know what I mean? We're just seeing a lot of things right now where the world's kind of crazy right now. So, you know, I think we're all kind of at that level. We're at that point where we're just kind of figuring stuff out. You know, hopefully what I could write, you know, with this next album will come across that way, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Less so much about the streets, more about the world, and more about personal, introspective, you know, reflective stuff.
Yeah.
Let's see how that goes. Now, I got a beat from you that I'm working on, which is a banger, so...
Riot Act?
Yeah, Riot Act, man. Riot Act. Damn, yo, a lot of those lyrics for Riot Act, I just woke up one morning and I just started writing and just came out of my head. Like a lot of my lyrics do, you know, it just comes to my head. But as I was writing it, I'm like, okay, I guess I'm writing this from the perspective of being inside of a riot.
Yeah.
And, you know, like I'm saying, with a lot of what's going on in the world, you know, what's going on in Hong Kong right now, what's been going on down in Missouri, you know, a song like that is definitely something that people could listen to. And hopefully it doesn't cause them to go up there and break windows and shit. But it's a song where it's kind of like I put myself in their shoes.
Yeah.
So, you know, I see what these struggles people are going through, and I think about that a lot, you know what I mean? And I put myself in their shoes and write about what they're going through, the feelings, you know, the emotions, the stresses, you know, like that's just stressful, you know? And for those people to put themselves in those situations, they're brave people, man, you know? Like a lot of people look at it like they're troublemakers and they just want to ride and they just want to break shit down. Yo, some of those people are students fighting for the right, for the freedoms that we enjoy here.
Yeah, to fucking learn, to fucking, you know, family, to get by, like...
the right to vote for the person they want to vote for. You know?
For fucking the smallest things.
The right to survive and have equality. You know what I mean? So it's crazy, man. It's not even just going on just in, let's say, Hong Kong or Missouri. You know, it's just going on in Turkey. It's going on in Greece. It's going on in Spain. It's going on in Venezuela. You know, it's going on worldwide. You know, it's a bunch of different causes. You know, so Riot Act is just, I'm not talking about any specific riot or any specific movement. I'm just talking about being in the heart of a movement and that feeling of what you're going through. You know, it's that moment where you're willing to give everything and sacrifice your life for that person beside you.
Yeah, most definitely. Is there anything else that you have for the upcoming album as well that you like to talk about? Like any any info you'd like to leak? Any tracks you might have in the works or?
Riot Act is definitely the one that I'm writing right now. I got a few other tracks that I'm working on. The first album, you know, was mainly in-house, so mainly my boy J-Boz, Jimmy T, he produced the most part, that one in PvP. Yeah. The next one, you know, I'm gonna reach out a little bit more, you know. I'm gonna try to work with this really talented kid named Donnie Milwaukee. If I can, you know, lock that kid down and get some work with him, it's gonna be really expensive. But he's just really dope. And you know, if you don't know who he is, if you haven't heard his name, I guarantee you in a year or two within Toronto and just bigger scenes, you're gonna hear this kid, and he's one of the most talented live musicians like I've ever seen in my life.
Right.
I had the opportunity to go to an open mic, and he was just hosting the open mic, and it was a live band open mic, and he was the conductor of the entire band and the entire night, and it was just best show that I've been to in years.
Really?
Right. So I want to work with him on something if possible, just to be able to capture that live band thing that, you know, that I pretty much like to do, and get that more on my next album.
Yeah.
And you know, I wouldn't mind working with AAA. I really like AAA, so see if I could work with him.
Elvibe was actually talking about AAA.
Yeah, man. AAA has a really good sound. I really like his sound. Definitely gonna get some more heat from J-Boz, some more heat from PvP. You know, your track, Riot Act, definitely, you know, gonna be one of those standout tracks. But it's just in the infant stages right now. You know, I'm just really just starting to craft it. I take a couple months and kind of craft my projects in my head, and, you know, jot down a bunch of ideas and write some 16s and potential ideas. You know, before I even go ahead and do it. Also probably gonna work with my boy James Pugh from Euphonic Sound. He did a lot of engineering on my last album, and, you know, a lot of the mixing and stuff. But I think I'm gonna, you know, go to him and work a little bit more, you know, see what kind of sound we can get out of that. But you know, basically just gonna keep it real, man. You know, features. I'm trying to do some features as well right now.
Yeah.
You know, I got a big one right now. Trouble with my boy Duke Buzzy, that's circulating. Naps Mecca, you know, I'm trying to work on a track with him right now. Shout out to Naps Mecca. He sent me a beat and I just destroyed that verse. So hopefully, you know, get that out soon. And that's it, man. Just put myself out there as much as possible. But Road to Damascus is just in the infant stages right now. You know, hopefully mid 2015.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully around the same time that I put out Bootleg This EP, so that was around June 1st.
Yeah.
You know, get that out there around that time. Right. If not earlier, it'll definitely be dope. But you know, it all depends on schedule and writing and
putting it together.
Yeah, exactly. Put it together, and this album, you know, I'm gonna put more money into it, so that's gonna, you know, take it a little more time.
Yeah.
But before that, I gotta deal with the Survival of the Illest Championships first, right?
Yeah.
So that's
November 7th, right?
Yeah, November 7th, and you know, from just Survival of the Illest alone, I've been getting, you know, hollered at for some more shows. Got Big Ticket October 10th. You know, this will probably get aired after, you know, I do that. But shout out to Chris Got Rocks and, you know, Big Ticket with my boys in GSD. You know, we're gonna hold it down. Hopefully, I get to hold down a solo, you know, set on my own sometime in the new year, and you know, doing that. You know, working on some stuff with GSD. You know, shout out to those dudes, and yeah, man.
Oh
yeah, sounds busy.
Yeah, man. You know, keeping busy that and the DJing.
Yeah,
that's one thing I can say. Since I've known you, you've been on the work. Like,
The one of the things I'm really excited for, you know, because I mean, we haven't really talked about it, is I still do the live band shit.
Yeah.
So I actually opened up for Rakim on the 4th of July.
No, say word.
Yeah, word. And I got to do it with my band, right? Not 85 East.
Yeah.
I got to do it with my band now. And the band I have now is really sick. Like, we got PvP, you know, on the ones and twos, obviously. We got Specs One is my hype man. We got my boy Carl Marshall, who was my bass player at 85 East, and he's my bass player now. You know, Jimmy T, J Boz, he was guitars, and he's the guy who produced a lot of these tracks. And then we got my boy James Rose, who's an amazing drummer, and you know, he's a drummer. He's actually been on the road for the entire summer out in Germany with his other band, More. He's coming home mid-October, so I'm excited just to be able to get into a rehearsal spot with those guys and jamming out with some live instruments.
Yeah.
And, you know, maybe even play some local shows, some spots with the band as well as just the solo shows, right? Because different vibe, different animal, different beast. You know what I mean? Like, I can go to a show and we might be the only thing that's hip hop relevant or even related on the bill. We're playing with like punk bands or really hard rock bands, but we'll still.
It's a good way to get kind of
segue
between.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that, man. Really excited about that, because just being in a room with like 4 other guys and just jamming it out for 3 hours alone, throwing back a couple beers, smoking 1-2 blunts, you know. But just getting to that music. When you guys interlock, and it's like 5 dudes interlocking through like just sound and vibrations, that's magic, bro. You know what I mean? And like, you don't have to say to this dude, yo, hook, you know, like if you're just freestyling, you know, drop the hook or whatever, like, you know, because math becomes numbers and it becomes a rhythm, and you can tell just by the pacing and just by how hard dude is hitting the drums, like, here we go, we're going hard right here for the next 8 bars, right? I miss that shit. I'm excited for my boy to come home from Germany and, you know, hear some stories about what him and his other band did over there. And, you know, play some shows over here with the boys, as well as, you know, the solo hip hop shows.
Yeah. Dope, man. Interesting. You gotta play.
Yeah, definitely, man. And hopefully the plate just gets bigger, or, you know, overspills in 2015, and I can start taking some of this stuff and, you know, helping out some people around me. You know, shout out to my boy Shaolin. I got this dude, you know, Shaolin. And he's, you know, he's a young 21-year-old kid, and that kid just, I see what he does, makes me proud. I'm like, yo, anything I can do to help you out, I'm gonna help you out. So hopefully 2015, I can help out kids like him. And
he's gonna be on that Basement Wasted bill too.
Yeah, right? he's on that with you. You're on that bill as well, right? You're on that bill. He's on that bill. Was it Joey's Prasad's on that bill?
Yeah.
And Hot Rocks.
Yeah.
And yo, Hot Rocks is sick, man. Like that.
I haven't checked Hot Rocks.
Okay, he's got flows, man.
Yeah.
That dude's got flows, straight up.
I've heard the name though.
Okay. Yeah. He's got a lot of different flows, and just like he just starts spitting. I'm like, all right, bro, I can't. You want that Bone Thugs and Harmony shit, and I can't even fuck with that right now. Right? He's dope. I like him. But yeah, Shaolin's on that bill as well, and I think you'll like him, man. 21-year-old kid, and he's just completely obsessed with 90s music. Just loves everything 90s. You know, from Big Daddy Kane to Cool G Rap to Nas to, you know, soaks it in like a sponge. and then you hear him spit, and you could definitely tell that he's aspiring to impress those guys. Yeah. He's not necessarily jocking their steeds so much, where it's like, yo, get off your dick, but you could tell that he's completely influenced by them, but he does that 90s shit so well and so much himself by throwing in, things about him being a skateboarder and whatnot, and making it relevant to today, where you're just like, damn, man, you might have been born 20 years too late, kid, because, he definitely would have held his own in 1993, I think.
Oh, shit.
I like that kid. So, I think you'll be impressed with him.
Dope. Yeah, that sounds real dope.
Yeah, man. And likewise with yourself, because you got a bit of a throwback style yourself. Like, I noticed that and whatnot. So, I think you two will definitely, be impressed with what each other brings to the game right now.
Dope, man.
Yeah, man.
Real dope.
To leave it off, you want to tell people where they can get your music, where they can find downloads of your album, where
Absolutely.
they can follow you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, all your
social
links and all that.
Absolutely, man. I keep it real, like I used to go by the name Akira, now I go by Dustin Wareham. That's Wareham with a W. So just Google my shit, type in my name and you can find me on Dat Piff, Bootleg This. If you actually Google Dustin Wareham Bootleg This EP, you should find it on Dat Piff. You can download it from there. SoundCloud, so just soundcloud.com/Dustin Wareham. You'll find my Bootleg This EP on there, as well as some other tracks. YouTube, you can find Hat Real Low. You can find I Don't Give a Fuck on YouTube. A bunch of other stuff from 85 East. Some of it's unmixed and masters, so please don't go too hard on me with that. But is what it is. And you see some of our old videos and some of our performance videos and stuff. You can catch me on Instagram. I think on Instagram I'm at 80's Favorite Babies on Instagram, because I want to hold it down for the DJ squad. So Instagram at 80's Favorite Babies. Twitter, I'm at Dustin Wareham on Twitter, so you can just get at me on there. And Facebook, just straight up Dustin Wareham on Facebook. So hit me up on any of those links. Get at me. I'll return messages. And like I said, man, if you're an artist and you're hearing this and you're looking for somewhere to kind of give you a chance to come down and hone your skills, get at me. I'll throw you on a basement wasted bill. Just come out, bring a couple friends, have a good time, and give us 15 minutes worth of your music, man. That'll definitely do for you, man. And yeah, man, I'm out there. I'm out here. 80's Favorite Babies myself. If you see me, say what's up. Get at me. I'll slap hands.
Yeah, word up.
Word. Appreciate it, man.
Thanks for coming down.
Anytime, man. Much respect. Thanks for having me out.
Word up,
Much
man.
love.
Take care, homie.
Yeah, man. Let's go smoke a blunt or something.
Yeah.